Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Arthur's Roundtable. Thank you for listening today. And I have to tell you, I've been trying to wrangle Jason to come and speak with us, and it was largely my fault. Well, we haven't been able to do it sooner, but I'm super happy to have him here today. We met in New Orleans and maybe a year ago, maybe more, and we've been communicating since. And so I'm super happy to have him with us today and have a chat. And welcome, Jason. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for inviting. It's an honor and pleasure to see you again and to hopefully have some fun here.
Yeah, I think we will. So let's start a little bit. So frame of reference for the group of a little bit about your background. It's extensive, but if you can give us the Reader's Digest version of it, and we'll go from there.
I'll try to keep it within a minute or two. First of all, most important to me are family and friends, and then my two companies, and then some philanthropy. When it comes to family, I think God's kingdom comes first. God comes first, and I became rather active in my faith in the past 5 years. I kind of grew up for decades and decades and decades was secular. But ever since I got deep in faith, nothing is more powerful, I tell you. And then my family, I got two lovely, compassionate, happy Gen Z young adults. One is 27, one is 24, two girls, and they're both in tech. One is a Google senior software engineer, and then the other is also an engineer at Stripe. She was with Salesforce Slack for a couple of years. And my big girl, Sabrina, she's my birthday. I'm going to celebrate her birthday with her in New York City in a couple of weeks. And then my younger daughter actually graduated Wharton, summa cum laude, the top business school, but
Nice.
path less traveled. She did not go into finance, IB, BCPE, HF, RE, that type of thing, like finance, but she actually became an engineer. But at Wharton, she was a top activity leader. She was also co-president of the Wharton FinTech Club. This tiny little thing, 4'11", the first ever. You meet her
Nice.
10 seconds, you realize that damn, she's a leader. She knows how to communicate. But she wants to kind of pick up a bit more tech first, maybe following not my footstep, even though we've been in Silicon Valley for a long time. And it's so funny. Back then, my daughters go, Dad, I born and raised, grew up in Silicon Valley suburb. I want to go to the East Coast, urban, for college. I say, go, go.
Yeah,
But
go.
got bit by the Silicon Valley bug and then
Yeah.
got tech. Whatever they want to do, they could rise up quickly if they want to, or slowly, up to them. On a business fund, I'm building another very exciting tech company. God willing, this thing's gonna disrupt a rather large 700, $800 billion industry. We're disrupting the legacy. Whenever you're disrupting a legacy as a tech company, you're gonna incur a lot of enemies. That's one reason we kind of keep it very low profile.
Can we
But
talk about it? Because I did look at it and look at if we're talking about the advertising.
yeah, part of it's included in that equation, but it's
Yeah.
very disruptive, very exciting. God willing, this thing could be $100 billion market cap company in a couple of years. I'm not kidding you. And then my second company is my family business, 3EQ. Over the years, a lot of family office and ultra network people got to know me. And these days, as you know, Arthur, I get invited to speak everywhere, right? In family office summits here. I'm not even a single family office. I may set up one in due course, but I talk about all sorts of things: geopolitics, AI tech, alternative tech investing, intergenerational, next gens, legacies, do's and don'ts, family office trends. Um, how to build great companies with wisdom as an entrepreneur, as an investor, uh, grooming, preparing next gen leaders for greatness with well being, right? While enhancing family, ultra network legacies, even Ivy League elite college admissions, human capital, higher education, K to 12. The gaps that we have, even Ivy League schools, what they're producing in terms of what the employer is looking for. There's a gap. And my extracurriculars include mostly philanthropy, St. Jude, and I've been a G20, B20 member. B20 is the G20's official business forum. And I'm one of a handful of Americans, like a handful, who get appointed on a yearly basis to be a B20 member. And I've been sitting on the Future Work, Employment, Human Capital, Education Task Force for the past 10 years, you can imagine I see a few things, right?
I
About
bet.
how
Yeah.
it really works,
Yeah.
how the world really works. So that's kind of exciting. And plus a few other faith related and other philanthropy activity. That pretty much sums my profile, I guess.
Yeah. Super helpful. Let's talk about the next gen stuff that you're doing for a minute.
Mhm.
There's a rather I don't mean to be off-putting about this, but pedestrian view that most rich kids, unless they're handled properly and are uh, by their parents showing them values, that's a pretty pedestrian view that they can get spoiled and not make contributions to the world or whatever. Have you seen any of that change in terms of you legacy patriarchs, matriarchs wanting to dutifully do something about that because they anticipate, spoiling their kids and having them, being rotten apples, sort of thing?
I would say on average, matriarchs and patriarchs, parents, myself included. And I'm actually my favorite dad joke is that I look like I just graduated high school, but I'm actually a tail end boomer.
Yeah,
And
right.
bring the wisdom
Yeah,
and my energy level, my spirit is like, a couple of decades younger. I think parents on average do try, but the quality of the effort and the mindset on average have a lot of room for improvement.
yeah.
Let's face it. You and I, your friends, my friends are family offices, ultra net worth, right? CEOs. My friends are mostly successful CEOs. And I would say I would never generalize anything about anyone, any family. I
That's
find that
fair. Yeah,
every family's got their own uniqueness in some ways. Of course, there are quite a bit of similarities, but they're unique in their own ways, right? And when you look at the entire bell curve, right, once you have enough data points and the law of large number supply, there's a bell curve. There's like the super lazy, super spoiled. Let's face it, there are quite a bit of them. And you have the super achievers that are, even though, they grow up or brought up in a wealthy family, but they really made it on their own with mentorship and they really are driven and they really want to love and serve and contribute. And I got a lot of those, right? Because in the past 18 years, I've guided a couple of hundred kids one-on-one. And these are mostly high achievers, right? Get into top schools like, Ivy League, Stanford, Berkeley. And some of them don't even have to go to top schools. Some of them even said no to Ivy League and go to a less known school because it's a better fit. And I've been guiding, in fact, my latest student is a 60-something-year-old female. She just wanted me to, number one, kick her ass. Number two, raise her competitiveness. Number three, help take her to the next level in business, career, personal success, right? Because the CEOs, the senior executives that are mature, they're already pretty aggressive in business. But for the ones that are humble enough to want to improve, and I think, that reminds me of, that it's an overall equation is human capital. Human capital. One of the three billionaire co-founders of Carlyle Group, Daniel Aniello, my friend, she knows my younger daughter because he spoke in Wharton before. My daughter invited him. I actually helped them a little bit. And he said that human capital is more important than financial capital. Think about that.
yeah,
And then number one risk, or actually governments. Fully agree. Fully agree. Because if we lose money, we could make it.
right.
But you're not, if your spirit, your vision, your direction, your mindset, your soft skills, your execution, your strategies interconnected is not strong enough, you're not going to move to the next levels, right?
Yeah,
It's just like entrepreneurs and investors.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah. And overall, I would not generalize anything. I think the most important thing is just like what Jeff Bezos mentioned. And he said the most important soft skill is actually intellectual humility. What it means by that is that no matter how rich or poor we are, we got to be humble enough to recognize that, hey, if we make a mistake, let's improve ourselves first, right? The leaders start with self-awareness, improve ourselves first, walk and talk by example, and then inspire and guide others to produce. And of course, towards your good vision, make sure your vision is good. If your vision sucks, then it's a worse situation to be in, right? The
Right.
worst situation is to be tenacious in the wrong
In the
direction.
wrong direction. Yeah.
Right? That's
Although
like
that could be a pretty valuable lesson, you know.
lesson learned,
Yeah,
because we all
yeah,
learn more by
yeah,
failures
yeah.
than successes, correct? So
But many of the people that I've met, met and know of. So I've met a lot of people like you that are successful, and the ones I've met, they're super curious, and they don't get stuck on uh, ideology because they can change their mind, right? What's the old saying? You know, show me the facts have changed and I'll change my mind,
Right.
right? And so, and then the people who I haven't met that are arguably successful financially and otherwise, Bezos on down, they're hyper curious. They're not stuck on stuff. They want to find out what the truth is, right?
Absolutely. Like, like the billionaires and centimillionaire friends that you and I know, for those are not kind of intergenerational wealth, but those actually the majority are really self-made. I would not self-made, maybe they believe in faith, I don't know. But they really kind of build successful entrepreneur and suddenly their net worth is worth 10 figures or 9 figures, right?
Yeah.
Those guys don't have any fixed mindset. It shocks me even in Silicon Valley, which is perhaps the most influential or the most powerful place besides DC in our nation, fixed mindsets still prevail, not growth mindset. Some people have not even heard about the term fixed mindset versus growth mindset. It
Yeah.
shocks me. It shocks me, right? It's like fixed process. It's like your ability to be adaptable, lateral thinking, critical thinking, strategic problem solving, to be growth oriented, to learn. You talk to Jamie Dimon, in every talk he gives, he always says, learn. You have to
Yeah.
improve.
Totally.
And it shocks people just kind of process oriented. It's sort of like, okay, it's okay, linear thinking, we need that, but you adapt your linear thinking, lateral thinking, critical thinking, got to be adaptable, agile,
Yeah.
in addition to your resilience and tenacity and compassion. All those things matter.
All
Those are
those
core.
things do matter. So, if you don't mind, we talked a little bit offline before we got started, and you were at a conference in Miami, the FII conference, I think it is.
Oh, that's
And
great.
then you had a round table with some folks. Can you tell us a little bit about what you mentioned to me there, and what you learned from some of those people?
Yeah, FII Miami, Priority on Miami. It's actually organized and financed by the Saudis, right? Saudis government. And it's kind of like a Davos, like a mini Davos. So a lot of, kind of tycoons and moguls and powerful people. President Trump was so funny. I was there live, and the guy's 79 years old, 78. I tell you, Trump 2.0, I seen him transform. Totally pro business, pro growth, pro safety, pro strength, pro innovation, pro tech, pro everything. Right, love that. And I know so many powerful Democrat friends. They all shifted right. It's like, damn, you know what? Actually, he's better for my business.
Yeah,
So we
I
back to
think so, Jason. I think that uh, even the ones that we publicly see that have shifted, the RFKs and the Tulsi Gabbards,
right.
there's hundreds that we know privately that
Hundreds.
are at liberty now to say, wait a
A
minute,
liberty now.
it-
It came out and just say it, just do
yeah,
it now.
yeah,
Because, in fact, I tell you, okay, my younger daughter, I'm gonna say publicly, I don't care, right? My younger daughter graduated summa cum laude from Wharton as
amazing,
a
amazing.
and she was a top activity leader, right? It's like great soft skills. I just wrote a message to Wharton Dean. And I told her that have you get rid of all the DEI executive programs yet today? I just messaged her.
Oh,
And
good.
when I saw you install a head of DEI when you became a new dean, I was a bit concerned. I kept my mouth shut. But now Trump 2.0, he's totally transformed, very empowering. I said, have you done it yet? Because DEI is very distracting. The E in the middle, equity, DEI came from Marxist beliefs, man. So
Totally.
for those gaslighted, for those that are deceived, the devil destroys you. Number one, the devil always deceives to try to destroy you. If that doesn't work, the devil distracts you.
Yeah, right.
Think directly
Distracted.
and
So
through
that's
trauma.
exactly what it was, a huge distraction. And let's call it what it is. There was so much funding for it.
So much funding. But and
And
then ka-ching, right? The
yeah,
DEI, your heads and all that, then they build their own fiefdoms, make
yeah,
money. It's all about power and votes, politician votes for private sector, indirect votes,
yeah,
money. That's it.
Yeah.
There's so much legalized corruption. I grew up in San Francisco. It frustrates the hell out of me to see that the city went to hell in recent years. Right now,
It's
it's
a
picking up again.
beautiful city. It was a
It's a
beautiful
beautiful city. I
city.
love it there. Right, I've been here for 51 years in the Bay Area, and now we're picking up again, which is good. New mayor and kind of moderate, fantastic. But Levi Strauss, son-in-law, he's a business guy. I'm hoping that he could become a bit of a mini Bloomberg because Bloomberg did a great job.
You did a
For
great job in New York. Yeah, no
I'm
doubt.
hoping that he's going to be one. Revive the city. And then, of course, a concentration of AI, entrepreneurship, engineers, and all that. They're all there, right? So these kids are party, they get drunk on Friday, Saturday nights, but they're brilliant, right? It's fantastic. So it's reviving. I love the Bay Area no matter what. I hate the politics, but we're changing now, which is good. And honestly speaking, in across the nation, all 50 states shifted right. The only areas left, guess what? Are really concentrated in California, New
New
York,
York.
some
Yeah.
metro areas. But if the metro areas, if the devil is like being butt kicked and kind of shifted right, the
Yeah.
entire country is gonna be red.
You know,
No
I
more,
there
but
will
it's gonna take time.
yeah,
So
it'll take time, but it was impressive how
right,
sweeping it was across the country.
yeah,
And it's not hard to understand except how it accelerated.
right,
Still puzzled by it, but and I like it, just
right,
to be clear. But there were some people that got ideologically captured,
right,
and they were stalwart liberals
right,
to the extreme, and they just, what's the saying? It's easier to convince somebody than to adopt something, a lie, than it is to convince them that they've been lied to, right?
right.
So something
There's
like
a
that.
Bible, there's a Bible verse, Arthur. You get a kick out of this, and some people know. It's easier to get a camel to go through the eye of a needle than to get a wealthy person to enter God's kingdom. Think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Nope, I've
Because
heard that one
legalized
before, for
money,
sure. Yeah.
right? God says,
It's a metaphor, right? Yeah.
so,
Yeah. I think
but
that
that's one of, but so one reason I exist, right? It's
yeah.
not like I'm going to shove my faith down your throat, which is exactly what Mark Wahlberg, the famous movie star, he
Yeah,
said.
what's the incentive? Like, I don't get when people behave that way, they're you usually follow the money, and that
Right,
explains it, right?
right,
If
right.
look, we've spent a lot of time in Utah lately, and for the past 3 years, we've gotten a baptism by fire, literally, by getting to know the LDS culture and the prior LDS people, and it's been an absolute amazing. It's been fun, meaning,
Oh, fun. My Alan Olson, I was came from Legacy Builders Conference from in Palm Beach 3 weeks ago. We had a blast, right? So a lot of LDS, and I was one of our key speakers last year in Silicon Valley. Great people, some powerhouses here. And I joke with them. It's like, oh my God, Alan, you got, he's older than us. Kind of, he's got 22 grandkids.
wow, yeah,
Kids.
yeah,
And I think that's good, man. Keep it up because we need organic growth. Because a lot of Western societies, developed societies, are not growing that much anymore.
it's
That's
true. We need population growth. If you listen to the reports, and,
right.
and also just anecdotally, in getting to know a lot of these people in Park City and Salt Lake, uh, in a very comfortable, no one was trying to recruit us into LDS. Let's put it that way. But it's an interesting anecdote that a lot of the homes that are built in that area have bunk rooms because they want to have so many children and procreate, right?
I,
And so it just aligns with what you just said. They have, rooms with, 15 beds in them, and right, it's part of the design there. It's super, super interesting. Nice people, wonderful
very
business minds, really, really nice.
kind-hearted, nice people, pro-business, and even like I got a bunch of all my Orthodox Jewish American friends. They're all very successful in business,
Yeah.
including billionaire too. And when I go to the Shabbat dinners on Friday night, I had a genuine conversations, great wine, great food,
Yeah.
and some of them even call me Rabbi Jason because I'm the chief mentor, right? From
Yeah.
the
Right.
I get a kick out of that. We just can 1 o'clock in the morning in Long Island, New York City, 1 o'clock in the morning, doors wide open, people come in and out of the community so close, so tight knit. I love that. I love that.
I
You know.
love it too. And yeah, I'm born here. My parents were born here, but we appreciate and continue the Greek culture.
Mhm.
Plenty of food, doors wide open, everybody's welcome, sort of thing. And I think I listened to a couple snippets from Ray Dalio on Tucker Carlson,
Mhm.
and when Tucker asked him, what can help us make it through what Dalio said is going to be a firestorm for the next 5 years. It's going to happen so fast. And his answer was community, right? Community is going to hold us together. It's going to make us be able to be resilient to change, and it consistently is proven that if you've got community around you, it makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of boil it down to something simple. I say, what's important? Your spirit comes first. Yeah, family, education, community slash connection, and pro-business.
Yep.
So within the Ma family, my older daughter Sabrina, she joked and coined the term mafia with a capital
I
K.
saw that. That's so funny.
I,
Yeah.
when she did that, I said, "Honey, that's hilarious. What does it mean?" It's like the Ma family, Dad.
Yeah, it's the Ma family. Yeah, I love it.
And
Yeah.
it's like, and I kind of sort of, okay, all right, then I'm got 3 line items for the Ma family, mafia values. Number one, unconditional love within the family. Number two, humor, the factory of bad jokes, right, from this guy,
Yeah.
right? So you hang around, we joke around all the time, crude jokes included. And number three, high standards in what matters. The third line item, I kind of kept it a little bit vague so that you have some wiggle room in between. Kind of like what Viktor Frankl mentioned, what's between stimuli and response is a space. The space is where you could find peace, right? The
Yeah.
space is 4S and 3EQ, your kind of your mindset, your spirit, your skills, your direction, and all that. So
Yeah, what a great book that is. I'm glad so many people have read it. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
printed in so many languages and such a good basis of understanding. So tell me about can we talk about the businesses at all or no?
Sure, yeah. Whatever you want.
So the one that I looked at, and it might not have been the one they're referring to, is the one where you get paid to watch advertisements.
Huh. You know, I'm happy to say a little bit. We tend to be very low profile, but since you're asking, we're pre-revenue now, but I think that there's a possibility. In fact, there's a high probability we could get it to 100 million ARR by the end of this year.
Well,
The fact of the matter is that the programmatic digital ad industry has been around for 2, 3 decades. You know who the dominant players are. And Google, Facebook, they got a couple 100 million revenue per year out of a 800 million digital ads. It's mostly programmatic, right? And then there's a whole bunch of ad techs out there, advertising technologies. But it's so ripe for disruption in so many ways. So the way that we do it is that it took us years to get those patents issued. My founder, CEO, CTO colleague, and the co-founder, CFO, they're geniuses, right? So you can imagine this guy, I've been around. In fact, I'm one of the pioneers along people with SaaS back in the 90s, right? In addition to kind of engineering and selling communications infrastructure gears and internet services. So back then, Netscape, iPaaS in the 90s were stallings, right? I was the head of Asia Pacific, brought in majority revenue, and we were a SaaS company. And I even co-founded and merged another edtech SaaS company in China when it was safe to do so with an American company. Part of my education past, plus my other sectors. And what we see is that in a ginormous three-sided marketplace of consumers, of advertising brands, and these distribution partners, what are consumers suffering from? Even though America, we're a wealthy country per se, but 60% live paycheck to paycheck, and then the vast majority, struggle financially. Imagine most of the rest of the world are even worse off. But what if we add to their spending power, their purchasing power, in a mentally healthy way? Because mental health is an issue, correct? So tangibly raise the purchasing power. What if you make a couple of grand more per year or even more cash credits, right? Because cash talks, right? Better and points and all that.
Still have to buy food. You still
You
have
know,
to
like,
feed your
oh, buy
family, right? Yeah.
consumables, foods, cars, you still have
Yeah.
to buy, right? So even the poor in America got 1 point something TV. So the poor in America is much better than a couple of billion people out
No
there.
doubt.
And you know, Arthur is so funny. Whenever I talk to, we're very selective in talking to people. Otherwise, I kind of keep my mouth shut, right? And the top 1%, a lot of investors, I realize some of my friends, these guys are not effective in empathizing with the masses. I said, hey, dude, the way you talk, the way you think, you're not effectively empathizing with the bottom 99%. You're the top 1%. The way you think and talk, you're not showing empathy with what's really going on in the masses, the bottom 99%. I'll give you one example. My older daughter's former boyfriend, who I approved when they broke up, unfortunately. I like the guy so much. They're both Googlers, right? They're making, big bucks, you can imagine, fraction of the top 0.1%. And he said, he's in his late 20s now. He said, Mr. Ma, I'm not going to buy that until you use my coupon. It's just
Right.
human nature,
I know,
right?
right?
Even the wealthy want to have a big discount buying
Yeah.
yachts
Yeah.
because I negotiate all the time. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm good enough. I'm gonna get my price down and I'll give you a bigger tip, for
Right.
big tips of blue color, but I want to reduce, get a discount. So that's important. Listen, advertisers, they advertise. The world depends on advertisers. Super Bowl, what, $7 million,
Yeah.
$8 million for 30 seconds? It
Still
still works.
works.
Still works, right? Because you get to get the eyeballs. But what if the programmatic, the programmatic space, the problem that they have, the advertisers still don't like is that they're still not getting the advertisers are still not getting the return on ad spend. At the end of the day, they want to sell shit. They want to sell stuff, right? Excuse my French. And they're not getting the ROAS, the return on ad spend. This is still top funnel impression. You see here that quite a bit impressions.
The selling impressions, not results.
Right, not results, right? The
Right.
click-through rate is still, fraction 1%, 2, 3, 4, 5% click-through rate. It's still top funnel impression. And the advertisers still struggle with attribution, the relationship between the sale and the customer. They're clueless. And they get, click fraud, ad fraud, bots, bad players, bad actors, not compliant, right? All sorts of issues. But what if we solve all those problems at the same time at an even lower ad rate? So we give the advertisers down funnel conversion ready ads, opt-in incentivized audience, opt-in incentivized audience who could watch this short video ads in their own sweet time and then make cash credits that they could use or don't use based on what they want at the same time.
And
Take
presumably buy whatever they were looking at
like
or at some
so
point, right?
And exactly, exactly. And then if they don't buy, then the cash credits go back to the advertisers. Nothing is leaked, right? They like that. And then the advertisers get attribution in real time, build one-on-one relationship with consumers on steroids at scale. They get down funnel conversion ready and no fraud, no click frauds, no ad blockers, no bots, no bad actors blocked out, multi-layers of authentication and at a lower ad rate plus other benefits. Are you kidding me? So advertisers will love that.
So the
And
thing that struck me, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second, is that immediately struck me is that the people who are going to watch these ads are only going to watch ads. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of things they want to buy, as opposed
exactly.
to being fed things that they're probably not interested in.
Because the executing programmatic ads, right? It's
Yeah.
all intrusive. Like for you and I'm sure all my friends, right? I'm so sick and tired of being bombarded by ads I don't want to see. Suddenly they're in my face, my desktop, my laptop, my iPad, my phone, especially.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to you read an article, you go to a website, you go to an app, you play games, you have to work your ass off to earn points and then you're bombarded by ads everywhere. These ads are still spray and pray. And then it's, by the way, we don't sell data, okay? So the platforms and publishers, they sell your private data. It's very hideous. Okay? I hate that. We don't do that at all.
Yeah.
And they sell it, and then the ed tech companies out there, It's still spray and pray, optimized public data or sold data, but it's still spray and pray. It's still not accurate. It's still
Yeah.
very intrusive. We solve all those problems, right? And they don't treat you as a partner. They treat you as a target. We treat our consumers as a partner. You make cash credit, right?
Yeah.
And it's done in a way that is like win-win-win. And then we have a B2C model. We're gonna launch in this summer B2C model, and then the B2B2C model. We talked to a bunch of major players already. In fact, not many tech companies get invited by the most powerful person in sports, right? The NFL commissioner. So I brought my team, and then he brought his entire C-suite team to meet with
Wow.
us in person in New York City. I'll keep the details, okay? It's confidential.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of signs. When you look at all what's going on in the world, all the roads are pointing towards Rome, and Rome is my tech company sitting right there.
Yeah.
So I give a lot of credit to my founder, CEO, CTO, and my CFO colleagues. My founder, my CEO, CTO founder is brilliant, right? Invented the technology, got the patents, took us years to get those patents. And my CFO colleague, he's actually the COO for a major media group in LA, couple thousand people. The billionaire chairman and CEO, he's a SFO, CFO for the billionaire chairman and CEO, SFO. We're
Interesting.
all doing it pro bono part-time. We don't pay
Yeah. Yeah.
ourselves. We pay only engineers and the pat
Yeah.
and attorneys. So
So what's
that's
the
a glimpse
what?
of my tech company.
Yeah, I get it. So what i- is is it just development, tech development that's
We're
in the
beyond that. We're,
way?
we're shuffle ready. We're shuffle ready. So
Yeah.
we have a MVP done for the B to B2C
Yeah.
first. We pivoted. We're going to launch our native B2C first and collect data.
Yeah.
So the way we do it is that we've been signing up major social media influencers. We a couple of them signed, and they got already 8 figures in followers. With just 1 million DAUs, we're already 1.8 or 2 billion excuse me, 1 million DAUs already, for already 2 billion in revenue. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So 100,000 DAUs, which is a small fraction of 0.1% of the TAM, we're already in these insane numbers, right? So by next year, there's a possibility or probability we could be over 1 billion ARR somewhere by
Yeah.
next year.
Wow.
But Arthur, that's where the fixed mindset comes in. When you look at the billionaire investors, Sequoia Capital, they got about 8 billionaire in Sequoia Capital. These billionaire angels, including the Stanford professor who wrote a check 100K and got this incredible MOIC, multiple over investment for Google. The way they invest is that they bet on the people. It's a gamble, okay?
Yeah.
They bet on the people, they bet on the vision, they bet on something big, big market, something different, something disruptive, and hopefully it's a protected technology. Hopefully it's patented.
With some sort of mode on it. Yep.
The most very important, right? It amazes me. There's so many AIs, even in the most brilliant place on earth for AI tech companies, Silicon Valley. Most of them are gonna get wiped out.
I think
No
so.
patent. Me too. Some of them get financed. I said, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
The entrepreneurs and investors, do you know what the fuck you're doing?
Yeah.
Some of them don't.
And it's good. I think it's gonna be, sadly, another tech bubble, but an AI bubble, right? And so
It's happening
things are going to
already
blow up.
because people still haven't learned. The herd mentality is still here.
Yeah.
Following the herd, right? Like for me, part of what I'm doing, Arthur, you're gonna enjoy this, is that in Silicon Valley, in the decades and decades, the VCs, the voice is so powerful. The VCs drowned voices, right? But recently, I get invited to speak more and more. I said, you know what? I'm gonna disrupt them a little bit. So I've been kind of like getting slotted in these major events, and they kind of moderate whatever or panelists for this family office panel. And I said, here's what's happening. More and more smart SFOs, single family offices, are investing more directly. It's not like you're going to be successful, but of course, the principle, they're wise enough to make the right choices. Unless your job is to get a lot of deals every year, that's a separate story, correct? But for those, pick a few cherry picks, the probabilities for win is much higher. These are potential grand slams rather than cover the base hits or kind of like these massive VC firms, the way that they return, even the best 5% return only maybe 3-4x in a couple of years, locked up 7-10 years.
Yeah.
For a lot of the single family offices, they are not happy about that because
And they're
most of
not happy about it. It's true.
the returns are low. Okay. The VC funds underperform. They're
There's no
locked
liquidity.
freedom, no liquidity. They're locked up capital costs. They're not connected as well to their founders. So that they're actually not very happy. So I see the trend moving already. Of course, if the SFOs got fixed mindset, I said, don't invest, please. You should not be investing.
Yeah.
People should not be investing. But for those that are wise, like for us, we attract some of them that are like for me, when I pick investors, I actually it's the other way around. You have to be invited in. I curate you. I joke with people. I even interrogate my friends. Some of them
Yeah.
know that, right? Is it aligned with what
Smart.
you want? Otherwise, why bother? It's
Yeah.
totally fine.
So do you think that there's been a trend to get away from, I mean, you have the big guys, Andreessen Horowitz, all the, and
Sequoia,
there's,
benchmark. Yeah,
yeah, so many people see them as an indicator, as a green light to invest.
right,
But I think that, not but, and their model has been flush 90% of it, give them as much money as you can, they'll take,
right,
get them to fail, not that you want them to, and then do the follow-ons with the, 2% that are going to be unicorns. And I
right.
think that that's changing. Do you agree?
Um, yes and no. Unicorns are by definition a billion or more. To me, that's kind of wimpy, right? So decacorn is 10 billion or more market cap. Centacorn is $100 billion or more market cap, right?
Yeah.
Like me, my friends know me to be kind of selective. So I'm focusing on this tech company. There's a reason for it. And the impact is great and the wealth creation is immense, right? Now, when it comes to VCs, remember that bosses are the LPs.
It's
They
true.
have an LP-GP structure, okay? It's limiting. And unfortunately, most of these VC firms, they play politics with everyone because they have to kind of work with and also compete with fellow GPs, right? And they want to look good with the LPs. They're all thinking about fundraising for the next
The next
fund.
fund, yeah.
And then oftentimes I talk to so many people, so many people say the same things, like they will put you under the bus if they have to, you know, and then they would demand a higher percentage of the ownership of a company than what they deserve. I mean, not all of them. Some of them are real
Yeah,
good
compress the valuation, get a higher percentage.
valuation.
Yeah.
And it's like from an entrepreneur standpoint, let's say that if I'm lucky enough, God willing, to be in a fraction of the top 1% in terms of deals, I have my choices, correct? So why would I want to go for a VCs that have these types of demands against my wishes?
Yeah.
So that's why when you look at these very successful decacorns and centacorns out there, I'm not talking about unicorns. And these entrepreneurs, they could kind of, it's all back channel, by the way. Okay,
Yeah.
mostly back channel. And that's how I work too. It's mostly back channel, private conversation. I have to feel that the potential investors is pre-qualified, is pre-aligned with our vision, our principles, our values. No big ego, no big fixed mindset. Let's rock and roll, man. If you fit in the category, you can write a check, the
Yeah.
size up. Okay, let's talk.
That
Let's
makes
talk
sense.
step by step. So,
Yeah.
but most entrepreneurs don't do that, you see.
Yeah.
So, and it also depends whether you're kind of consumer or B2B2C or government, depends on the business. So my empathy go to everyone. At
Yeah.
the same time, just be more astute, more precise, right? Be patient as well. So,
So I have to thank you for, I had a wonderful conversation with the Silicon Valley Foundation person. Remember you?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Nicole Taylor or
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful girl, woman, whatever the right thing to say is. I don't care. Uh, the but I want to just thank you for that. It was really a enlightening chat,
Hmm,
and it doesn't matter whether anything will develop from that. It was good to know her, right? Yeah,
right.
for sure.
How about make more introductions,
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, do you need any help with this company?
I think we're fine, So, people come to us if they know us, and I have my network. So, if yeah. I by the way, I we never kind of publicly, kind of pitch and stuff like that. We just don't believe in that. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah, I got
I,
it.
we don't want, why on earth do we want to attract a lot of eyeballs and ears that we don't want?
I was fascinated when I saw it because it made so much sense to me. Sort of, what's the old saying? Uh, it's a really old saying when someone was asked, and I think it was the head of Gimbals, which was a department store years ago,
Mhm.
asked, why do you spend uh, money on advertising? And
Mhm.
he said, well, I just can't tell what half of it's wasted, so I have to spend it all, right?
Right.
So part of it works, we
Oh,
just don't know which
advertising.
part.
And another statistic, right? Google did a study that 56% of the digital ads, programmatic ads, right? 56% actually go to waste on a yearly basis. In other words, a couple of $100 billion of ads go to waste,
Yeah. So
which
do
is
you
one of
think, since you're in this business, I have a question that I've been curious about.
Mhm.
We know that, and I'm going to get this wrong, but in principle, it's right, is that the margin on Google is like 70%. Like their revenue is whatever. They're just printing money. The
Right,
cost of goods sold is, minor compared to how much profit margin is on their AdSense or whatever the
right.
proper word for
Yeah,
the
it's
advertising
high
is.
margins. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
high
good business.
margins. Do you think companies like Perplexity and Grok and those type of things that are likened to search engines now, uh, like Grok now has deep think,
Right.
and then you can put the think and that sort of thing. Do you think it's going to supplant some of Google's corner on the market at all?
Absolutely. They are chipping away at the Google's traditional search business.
Yeah.
And that's one reason that Sergey Brin came back to work. Okay. So
Yeah.
get my point? It's
Yeah.
like Gemini 1.0, it was a total embarrassment, right?
What was the matter with those
Black
people?
American founder is like, okay, dude, your DI thing, you got caught. This is
Yeah.
super embarrassing to Google. And then Sergey Brin came back to work and revamped it. And now the next version, Gemini, is pretty good. You notice that when you do a search now for the first time, then Google kind of like preface it with some search with some AI
Yeah.
generated results before the advertisers. Some advertisers don't like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is what it, in fact,
I
a lot of
like
people,
it. I mean, I like it
yeah,
all. It's
myself included, a lot of the techies and non-techies, the CEOs, these days, when I search for something, I don't necessarily go to Google first in the past. Sometimes, depends on what I search, I add a bit more context and I want to get more contextual results.
yeah.
And some of the Gen AI, they came back with some interesting, more thorough results that I
One
want
of
to
the
see.
things, if you don't mind me saying, that I love about Perplexity, and
Yeah,
Grok has done some of this too, is
right.
they just bring the sources. Okay, here's where we got all this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And what's better than that? I mean, at least you know where it came from, right? Instead of them
Well,
just spewing out something, right?
exactly. And Grok, the new Grok is very interesting. And I'm gonna spend a bit more time studying it because Elon is like anti-woke, right? And he spends so much on infrastructure, etc. When it comes to AI, there's really three main components. You got compute, where most of the money is made right now, right?
Yeah.
NVIDIA, etc., chips and GPUs and all that. And you got data, and you have algorithms and methods, and then physical AI is coming as well. And Gen AI now is agentic agent AI,
Yeah, right,
and
right.
AI is in the horizon. So there are things going on. There's a species of AI right now. And when it comes to Gen AI, and they got B2C, B2B2C, B2 G to C, etc. You got your traditional open AI, kind of the GPT, and let's see how the fight between Sam Altman and Elon is going to turn out. Let's see that, okay? And then you got, of course, Anthropic Claude. You got now the next version, Google Gemini. Pay attention to Google; they're very, very powerful. You got Grok,
And you got
and of course,
Microsoft, right?
like Microsoft, with
Was
the
it
with
Llama or Pilot or both?
uh,
Yeah, something like that.
Facebook, right? You
Yeah.
got Microsoft got a relationship with OpenAI, but at the same time also kind of doing their own thing, and then you got this kind of Stargate, 500 billion, Masasan,
Masa, yeah.
and I was like sitting in close to the front row. It's good to see everyone close, right? in FI last year. That guy is so super aggressive and fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, when he talks, the way he talks to grandkids is like, kids, don't be wimpy. Like immerse yourself with AI, immerse yourself with tech and all that. He's so growth mindset. He's like, I haven't done anything yet, made a mistake with WeWork, but I'm doing my next thing. The way he talks is so Silicon Valley visionary, aggressive growth mindset. I love
Yeah.
that, right? Take
He's
risk,
impressive, man. I
take
mean, he's
risk. He said,
a
take
guy
risk.
took that sort of hit and he just keeps on moving, right?
I'm going, keeps on
It's
going.
wild. Yeah.
And that's why, because we know that, compute is the most important thing now.
Yeah.
DeepSeek, don't believe that they spend only 6 million. Of course, they use a lot of compute to do
Yeah.
that.
I didn't study it closely, but did you see that Microsoft, I think it was, created a new substrate to make their chip run faster or something like that?
Oh
Was
yeah, yeah,
really, I mean, this stuff, and of course, the people in the know that I know were blown away about how quickly Elon pulled together uh, that that compute down in
in
Texas. Was it Texas? I think it's Texas, right?
correct.
Yeah,
And that's only one of 6 companies that it
yeah,
runs.
right. No, right.
Not to mention running Doge,
I know. Listen,
right?
the guy's impressive. For you
And
hate him, love or hate him, I love him. But
right,
because I just like the cut of his jib, to use an old
yeah.
saying, right?
My suggestion to friends, I like personally, I got literally good friends or best friends from the far left to the far right. That's who I am. I got, like this kind of a very super conservative dude here. I got a real good friend of mine that we've known since high school. He's like, kind of like flaming liberal.
Yeah,
I love him. That's who I am. I
yeah.
love them all. And my encouragement is to really focus on what are the real big outcomes that are most important. Don't get so distracted with identity, because once you do that, the identity, you're selfish. It's a form of selfishness. You focus too much on yourself.
I couldn't
This
agree more. I
the,
couldn't
the,
agree
the
more.
the saying it's not thinking less of yourself. It's to think about yourself less, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Then you get distracted. Like for you and I, we got limited time, right? Do we want to spend a lot of time talking about woke shit? No, we want to talk things that matter.
I want to spend time. Thank you for saying that. I'd rather sit and read a book than have meaningless blather with somebody about nothing.
Nothing.
Like, I mean, and I'd far rather do that.
Right.
But to just chit chat and talk about somebody who I had a conversation with somebody who's very liberal,
Yeah.
and they said, "Well, it's nice that we can talk like this." And I said, "What do you mean? Why wouldn't we be able to talk like this? You can. I'm open to be convinced about anything. I'll change my mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, right.
Exactly. And one of the things that I'm praying is to hopefully even my extended family, I'll be allowed to more freely talk.
Yeah,
Even in my extended family, I cannot freely talk.
yeah.
But it's not right. That's not right. That means that it's a little bit insular. Keep my mouth shut. I got to be very polite with my own extended family, not my immediate family.
Well, you don't
And
want to be incendiary. That's all. You don't want to create
I want
problems,
to be
right?
polite, keep my mouth shut, so in
Yeah,
most cases. I got 2 ears, one mouth. I prefer to listen more and
yeah,
learn. I prefer
exactly.
learning.
Yeah.
Just like you, one of my favorite pastimes, in fact, probably my favorite pastime, is really real conversations, one-on-one,
Yeah.
especially over a fine meal or fine wine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That helps, like, family office, private events. That's not bad. So that's my favorite pastime, actually.
I think there's been a lot of evidence that solving global problems and wars has been settled over a nice glass of wine or a
Right.
cocktail.
Relationships.
Yeah,
It's about
totally.
relationships.
Yeah.
That seriously.
Well,
And that's what happened with Gorbachev and Reagan, which is
yeah,
acceptable.
totally. Yeah, they had a cocktail. Yeah.
It's because they respect, and then Reagan actually discovered that Gorbachev was actually a closet Christian, and they kind of
I
connected with
think I
that.
heard that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then and then Reagan with his acting skill, I mean, people skill, I should say people skills.
Yeah.
Just hey, Gorbachev, let's restart this, and he was able to charm himself back into the relationship. Because initially they started off with like fighting, you're the evil. No, you're the evil. No,
Yeah.
you're the evil. You're the evil. And then it's like again, Reagan was about to walk away, and then suddenly turn around and say, "Hey, Gorbachev, hey, I'm Ronald. Let's restart.
Yeah.
Let's retouch."
Yeah. Totally. A lot
So
of problems are going to be solved with being open-minded, I think. And like you said,
right,
if you're closed, yeah, let's
yeah,
move on, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
listen, speaking of relationships, I'm glad we reignited this one and certainly appreciate you being here and doing this. And if it's okay with you, we've got a lot more to talk about. Maybe we can do it again sometime.
Oh, I'm very happy to do so. It's I could talk about anything.
Yeah.
Next from from like high school kids, next gens, all the way to geopolitics and everything in between, right?
So we
Whether
have I think all that is interesting. Geopolitics is really interesting now, obviously. And we've done a few segments with, people who are really dialed into all that stuff, and it
right,
would be super helpful to get your perspective on that as well.
sure.
So, yeah, maybe we'll
Even
do
my
that.
high school students, my college students, right, one on one, and man, these kids are benefiting big times, right?
Oh, yeah, to see what's
So
happening in real time, right?
even though they go to good schools and all that, but with Mr. Ma, chief mentor's guidance, it's like holy crap! I raised their not to mention I prepare them real well, help them achieve the greatest short-term, immediate-term outcomes in the most important life stage goals, and raise the 4S and 3EQ. And I have to say this because this is core to what I do, right? The visionary story, the state, the strategy, soft skills, execution, pragmatic, emotional, social leadership intelligence, uh, that raise their long-term success and well-being while helping them prepare and achieve the greatest results possible. It is so good. Even with teenagers, I guide them to be wise and because oftentimes these kids, right, they simply don't listen to parents. It is what it
I was
is.
just going to say
Well,
that is the number one thing is
that's
their
what I'm
parents maybe have the wisdom to impart, but they're not going to listen to them, right?
it's no one's fault. You think my own kids listen to Jason
Yeah,
Ma all the time?
right.
No,
Yeah,
they didn't listen to me quite a bit when they were kids, but maybe because I was blessed with being more skillful than 99.9999% of our parents. Net, they follow my advice. They're doing rather well, right? But it is no one's fault. But the trusted third party chief mentorship coaching, it is so hyper powerful, right? I do that as my core focus in my family business, 3EQ. So in addition to my tech company and other speaking, just gravy. I just get invited to speak quite a bit, just gravy, right? It's fun. It's fun, get away and kind of sometimes I want to get away from overly digital Silicon Valley and press fresh, right, with people. You
totally.
know,
Well, I'm glad
kind
we
of
talked about that because again, that could be a great subject
yeah.
uh, for next time. And there's huge value in having somebody who doesn't have skin in the game
Mm.
that they haven't lived with their entire life to lead them with some wisdom. So I really appreciate you said that.
That's
So,
my legacy. It's I'm trying to figure out once I kind of get a breather from my tech company and then from a few things, in due course, I do plan to download all the know-how, maybe use AI and create a bit of a mass product out there. You still have to pay for it because if it's free, it's not valuable, but
right.
make it more affordable to the masses
Yeah.
rather than say having, forcing each individual or family to write me a $1 trillion check, right? So
Right.
most people cannot afford that.
Yeah.
But it is
Democratize it a little bit and make it affordable. Yeah.
later
Totally.
on.
Yeah. Well, I
Right
look
now,
forward to that.
yeah.
So, Jason, thank you. Really, really appreciate you being here today. And
Likewise, I
I'll look
appreciate it.
forward to doing it again soon if you're willing to. And like I said,
Absolutely.
we'll make sure everybody gets an opportunity to listen to this, and we'll share it with you so you can share it with your folks as well. So,
Right. And for those interested, my suggestion is that, I have so many complimentary recorded talks and writings and
all
articles.
right, yeah,
This is website. Just go to 3EQ, THREEQ.com. Okay. And it's all there. It's all
yeah,
there. My events, my writings, some of my thought leadership, etc. And then if you're serious about getting my help, you can find me there on the
yeah.
website.
So
So
say the website again.
3EQ, THREEEQ.com.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for doing that. Appreciate it.
And when you LinkedIn me, for God's sakes, please say that we met via authors roundtable, family office insights. I hate it when people kind of connect without context. I
Yeah,
give you
yeah.
time. So
Out of the
otherwise,
blue. See a lot of
yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
want to keep it kind of, quality, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, feel free everybody to go ahead and do it in that way. And
yeah.
Jason, thanks again. Really, really
Thank
grateful.
you. Thank
Okay.
you. It's
We'll do it
delightful.
again
Fun.
soon. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.